Hello, everyone, and welcome to my channel. My name is Kristen Brown. I'm a self-mastery life coach, author, and mentor, and I'm here today to talk to you guys about what is self-love. This is a really good question and something that a lot of people ask because there's a lot of information swirling around in the world today about what self-love is, and many times the words self-love and self-care are being interchanged. But I'm here to talk to you about this today because this is my wheelhouse. This is what I teach. This is what I practice. And this is what I know to be the cure to hidden shame and unworthiness. It is also the cure to people pleasing. So if you're interested in any of these things, then I invite you to stay and listen to this video until the end. And if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and to turn on notifications. So I'm going to just break it down right from the top. What is self-love? Self means of you. Self, you. That's what self means. Love means of the highest energy and essence of the entire universe. It is God love. It is capital L love. That's what love means. So when you think about this, self-love means you are applying the highest energy possible of love to yourself. And when I started my healing journey and I started to practice some things, I did not realize what I was doing. I didn't know that I was actually applying self-love to myself until after the fact, when I felt so much better. My energy had shifted. I started attracting in new and better and improved people and experiences that I was like, what happened here? Not only that, I was much more peaceful. What I decided to do was go back and look and go, what did I do? And what I did was I had loved myself for the first time in my life. And a lot of times we think that we are loving ourselves because we're, trying to set boundaries, or we're taking physical care of ourselves, or, we think we know right from wrong and we're willing to stick up for ourselves. And all of those things are part of the whole entire essence of self-love. But there's specific practices that you can put into place that are going to heal your inner world in a way that you did not even know was possible. And I've spoken to many people along my journey and my travels of being a coach, author, and mentor and speaker. And many times when I run across somebody who has done this work themselves, everybody has the same experience. They don't know how to explain how they feel like on the other side of it. The best two words that people come up with is peace and freedom. So if you are someone who is looking for some peace and freedom in your life, that when you apply what I'm about to share with you in this video to yourself, and I mean religiously, I mean consistently, and you do whatever it takes to take the time to apply these tenets that I'm going to share with you to yourself, you are not going to be able but help to notice the difference. It is that vast and that profound. Many of us are walking around in the world right now with this hidden shame and unworthiness that we don't even know is there. We might know there's a little bit there. We might feel guilty, or we kind of question ourselves, or we think that we're not enough, or we compare ourselves, but we don't really understand the magnitude of the shame and unworthiness that is hidden within. And that's the culprit that actually contributes to our people-pleasing behaviors. And shockingly enough, it is the culprit that contributes to narcissistic behaviors. So the work is always to clean up our inner world so that we can change our energetic frequency, so that we can start attracting to us new and improved people and experiences. So with that, I want to jump into what are the 5 self-love tenets. Self-love tenet number 1 is grace and forgiveness of self. Are you out there holding yourself hostage to some mistakes you've made? Are you embarrassed about things that you have done? Are you thinking, you're a terrible person and it's never going to get any better, and you don't even know why people like you, or maybe you just think nobody likes you, and that's not even true. So here's the thing. When we start to forgive ourselves, we start to understand that we are a work in progress, that we were not designed to be perfect. It's not even part of the thing, and that mistakes are part of the game. Not only that, mistakes are serving, because mistakes are our lessons. That is how we grow spiritually on this path. So giving yourself grace and forgiveness, understanding and knowing that, you know what, I'm a work in progress. I'm going to forgive myself when I make a mistake. Now, this doesn't mean we don't make amends. This doesn't mean that we don't go to the person and own our behavior. All of that is part of the whole thing. However, sometimes those mistakes are just to self. We do things to self where we wish we didn't do it. We're like, oh my God, I shouldn't have done that. And we're feeling guilty and we're feeling shameful about that thing that we did. The key is to catch that mistake, apply forgiveness of self by knowing that you did the very best you could in that moment, and then you drop it and you move on. What happens is that you are going to shift on an energetic frequency level. It's a level that sometimes we cannot see happening, but what will happen is that the next time that it happens, we'll be a little bit more forgiving of self. It'll be easier to forgive self. So the next one, number 2, is respect and protection of self. For the recovering people pleasers out here, you're going to know what I'm talking about when I share about this. So I was in a relationship once where I didn't know what was wrong. I was quite young at the time. I didn't know what was wrong. I just knew something wasn't right. And what I realized is that that person, many years later, I realized that person just didn't respect me. And I wanted to blame that person, but what I realized was that I was not respecting me. I was the person that was not setting and maintaining healthy boundaries. And I wasn't protecting myself from the abuse that I was receiving from several people. Mostly it was romantic relationships in my life. So when I set course to respect and protect myself, above all else, I was not going to allow anybody else to treat me like that. Again, I reset that energetic foundation inside. I started healing up that shame and unworthiness. And guess what? I was more willing to respect and protect self until I am to the place where I am now, where all those people that treated me poorly and had no interest in healing themselves and to treat me any better, they're all gone. And what has come in and replaced them are people who are willing to respect me. So when we change our inner world, our outer world is naturally going to reflect it. And the third thing is compassion and acceptance of self. That is the third self-love tenet. So when we apply compassion to ourselves, I know so many of you out there are so incredibly compassionate with other people. Like you have so much feeling toward them and you understand what they do and you give them leniency, and yet you don't do that for yourself. Be compassionate to yourself. Apply that to yourself. Give yourself some understanding about where you are at on your journey. Allow yourself to be fallible. Accept who you are, all of who you are. So many times we are comparing ourselves to the outside world. We're comparing ourselves to society's standards, which, by the way, change all the time. They're always changing about what's acceptable. None of that matters. That's just a list of rules made by society. What matters is you accept all pieces and parts of who you are, your personality, your looks, the way you act, what you think is funny, the things that you like and the things that you dislike. And part of the most amazing things that happens when we accept ourselves fully is that we will start attracting people to us that love us for our whole and authentic self. And the fourth self-love tenet is supportive and loving self-talk. Now, I got an ego. You got an ego, everybody's got an ego, and that is our lower self, and it's yammering in our head all day long. It's trying to protect us. So it's trying to scare us. It's trying to tell us where we're inadequate. It's trying to tell us that we shouldn't do that thing because that thing is scary. All right. But the ego, the fearful lower self voice, is always the loudest and first voice in our head. So it becomes very serving when we go, I hear you. I hear you. Thank you for trying to protect me. What you're really doing is holding me down and making me stay small. And we change the narrative of what is going on in that noggin. We go from something that is defeating and scary to something that is faith-filled and abundant. And many times what you're going to notice is that that ego voice is lying to you. That was a huge shift for me because I'm someone who doesn't like lies. I'm a very honest person and I like people to be honest with me. So when I realized that the ego is a bunch of lies, I was like, oh, that made it really easy for me not to listen to the ego. So every time it was yammering at me, trying to hold me down, trying to make me play small, trying to make me not be courageous or do that thing that was exciting to me and that I felt inspired to do, I went, okay, you're lying to me. And then I took that lie and I turned it around into a thought that was as true, or an opposite thought that was as true or more true. And I started to reprogram my brain. And this is what you can do. Now, I'm not making this up about the reprogramming. This is experientially tested in the world today that we can actually rewire our brain. This is called neuroplasticity, and it is a real thing. So you can shift yourself from defeating, negative, awful self-talk, which, by the way, often leads to depression and anxiety. And you can shift that. Again, like I said earlier in this video, this is going to take some consistency, and it's going to take some discipline on your part to really want this more than anything. And the fifth self-love tenet is self-care. What does that mean? Self-care means that we are tending to the needs of self in whatever way that looks for you. We're all very, very different. I know that I need some alone time. That is a need of mine. I need to have really great sleep, at least 8 hours of sleep. I need to meditate on the regular. I need to drink lots of water. I need to surround myself with positive, uplifting friends. I need to exercise and move my body. These are my needs. These are things that are my core foundational needs that make me feel good and operate at my highest optimum level. So with this self-love tenet, it's important that you go within and you say, what is it that I need? Many times people don't even ask themselves that question. We're like, bouncing around from thing to thing like a ping pong, trying to make this person happy, put out this fire, get this task done, do this thing, that we don't take time for self. And that's what self-care is about. It's about going inside and really tending to the needs of you. So I hope this video was super helpful for you guys today to really, truly understand what is self-love. This is what self-love is. So thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you got a lot from this, and I will talk to you guys next time. Peace.